This is my final English project. It is about the different aspects that made Venezuela a unique place from an urban and/or an architectural point of view. To think about and argue about it, it is necessary to have a notion on the main structural elements of the urban space. These are color, lights, texture, acoustic, rhythm, vertical and horizontal circulation, and space and scale. To understand this subject a little bit better, each concept will be associated with images related to it, and give you a brief description of each image. These are photos and images of several sites located in Venezuela. Color. The different use of color affects the people's perception to a place. An environment can create different feelings according to the color used, and the painting patterns that it has. The way in which people's activities are developing are unconsciously determined by the environment around them, which is why urban designers plan spaces and then fit the type of dynamics that they want to create in the place. As an example of the use of color, here are some pictures of the McDonald's restaurant, which is very popular in Caracas. These restaurants are decorated with strong and vivid colors, red and yellow, which have the particularity that gives the sensation of wanting to eat, and at the same time make people feel awkward, so they eat and leave fast. This tries to achieve a continuous flow of people, so the establishment won't get too crowded. Lights. The use of different lighting techniques are applied regularly to the city of Caracas. This is achieved by transforming the passive nature of a place to convert this space into a focal point of human activities. Examples include the Plaza Venezuela, Plaza Altamira, and the Boulevard of Sabana Grande. All these places are, in the light of day, simple open spaces for the enjoyment of the pedestrian, but at night its dynamic changes. People are attracted to the displays of lights that make the area an attractive place. Texture. The use of different textures are applied in the city of Caracas in places where different dynamics converge, especially in areas where traffic flow and footpaths converge with each other. Thus clearly indicates that a change of activities is occurring. It's recognized as graphic representation in the road structure related with caution. The cars slow down and pedestrians are alert to the meeting between the two flows. As example of these cases of different textures used in Caracas, here are a couple of images of the Boulevard of Sabana Grande and La Plaza Alfredo Sael. Acoustics. The sound and the sonic environment of a place is really important because it is one of the factors that enable the effective development of human activities. In the absence of a harmonious environment, people avoid going to these places and these are isolated from any activity. In the case of Caracas, as there is a high degree of noise pollution due to a problem of traffic control and transport administration, urban planners try to integrate into society some places of enjoyment that constitute a recreational attractive, which also develop musical activities, taking advantage of the great acoustic in those places. These places are the acoustic shells, such as the Concha Acústica de Bellomonte, Concha Acústica del Parque del Este, and the Aula Magna. Rhythm. Rhythm in Caracas is usually seen in the repetition of forms and urban patterns. However, I found more interesting to study this element as a repetition of line, curves, negative spaces, and colors used to create certain images which, through rhythm, manage to irradiate different sensations. The most emblematic of the city, or best known, may be the Universidad Central de Venezuela, with walls decorated artistically with various reasons. These murals invite and explore the creativity of students, who perceive the patterns of rhythm in different ways. Another example is the Aula Magna, featuring different rhythm styles applied to the original design. Circulation. The types of circulation in Caracas are quite different. The spaces that have a horizontal circulation are easily recognizable and walkable, and travel is easily observed, while those with a vertical circulation are multi-story buildings with a more specific internal dynamics and whose range is not remarkable but under specific conditions. The Parque del Este has a well-defined horizontal circulation, and pedestrian areas were well designed. The Central Park towers are large buildings that have different internal routes, as stairs, lifts, and a vertical mobilization and transfer of goods and people. A mixture of both type of movement can be seen in shopping centers. The image below is El Centro San Ignacio, which has a horizontal path in their areas of access and in the course of each floor, while at the same time pedestrians must move vertically to access the different floors. Space and scale. Urban planners define the dimension of a place through the design of spaces and scales. The spaces are delimited by urban elements such as street furniture, vegetation, urban borders, building facades, and road access. In Caracas, the scale varies considerably in the buildings and the dimensions of spaces. This is due to an absence of a pattern or plan design, so each planner makes his own project according to their preferences. Here are some pictures of the city of Caracas where we can see the different scales and the different designs and dimensions of places. Once we have studied these concepts, we can realize that Venezuela is a society that moves slowly toward an integrated future, which seeks to consolidate a complete urban planning to ensure a forward-looking city. Venezuela is unique from an urban point of view because it results in a city of change and transformation, where there's a mixture of large urban elements, that even if they do not relate harmoniously among them, also looking for ways that at a larger scale, a city scale, these elements fit together in terms of a whole. Still a long way to go, since Venezuela does not have an effective implementation of all concepts studied. For example, in terms of spaces and scales, I think the country has no proper urban planning, but this is a constantly expanding field that counted on raw material to work. As a country with raw potential, Venezuela has had urban interventions, often the product of skills planning and/or architecture that beautify and ennoble the city development. That is why it is taking time and effort to improve our country, and this has the potential to take off and become a power, even globally speaking.